Hi and welcome to my full moon video. This full moon is in Leo and this full moon is in a quincunx to Pluto, Mars, Union, Venus and Mercury, and also Juno. So I would say it is again a challenging full moon, and it is a full moon that says we have to make adjustments in our relationships. And this is also visible in my cards with Inanna, with radiance, with Chiron, with imprint of karma, and with ignorance. And I would say the main cards I feel are Inanna and radiance, because Inanna is about being sovereign. Inanna doesn't need her insignia to be a queen. She's always a queen, and she reminds us, you are always a queen. I mean, this moon is in Leo. It is about stepping into your inner queen, stepping into your inner king. Be sovereign in your communication. And if you are sovereign in your communication, if you are not afraid to be heard, what others think or how others react is not that important. How you feel, what you are and what you value is, then you won't get triggered as easily. And then the positive side of radiance comes into place, this ability to really be able to express things in the right words. The dark side of radiance, though, is the tendency to argue, the tendency even to subconsciously trying to get into an argument, even if it's not necessary. I mean, radiance lives in the tree Yggdrasil, and he runs up and down, the squirrel runs up and down this tree and talks to the eagle and talks to the dragon, and he sometimes even uses false information to make them angry at each other. I feel like we all can have the tendency to cause anger in other people because we subconsciously use the wrong words, or we are too fast in our words, or we underneath have a resentment where we are not honest with ourselves, and therefore we try to get into an argument with someone else about something, and underneath it is in the end about something else. I mean, we know that words are weapons, and words can be a weapon to heal, like a knife in the hand of a very good doctor that helps to heal, or it is a knife that kills. And I would say this time around, this full moon is a time to be really aware how we use the weapons of words, how we use the weapon of words in us, and how we use the weapons of words with others. And even if someone else uses the weapon of words against us, it is our responsibility how we react. So it is important to step into Inanna, to step into the sovereign, and a queen is not hurt that easily. She is not challenged that easily, and it is about finding the right words. And with Chiron and with imprint of karma and with ignorance, we have a tendency in our society to not speak the truth. We have a tendency to avoid certain communication where it is about, this is what hurt me. I have to tell you my problems. I have to tell you the issues that I have with you or with something that you do. We have a tendency to avoid having a real talk, so to speak, because we avoid so-called negativity. In my last video I said that we have the tendency to be impatient, but we have also a tendency to avoid negativity. And to me, this has to do with avoiding the rhythms of life, because negativity is part of life. It is part of life to get angry or to feel hurt. And I would say it is a respect. Wow is also in the mix in the astrology, this respecting the rhythms of life, respecting also the waves of emotions that we feel, and trying to express it in a sacred way. I would say this is the task for this full moon. There is something where there is a culmination, there is something where I feel something is ending, something has to be fixed or adjusted or needs a transformation. But in order to transform it in a constructive way, we need to be really aware of what words we use and the words we use, it starts within ourselves, the communication we have with ourselves. The violence we have with others always starts within us. And even if someone else, now I repeat myself, is violent towards us, it is on us how we react. A Tai Chi master is able to transform that energy. It is not about allowing yourself to be a victim, but you can be able to transform that energy. And so I would say, be aware of your words. This is the message of the cards. And in the astrology, I would say the astrology confirms that we have quite a bumpy road in communication. I mean, Mercury is in a quincunx to the moon. Mars and Pluto also in the mix, union, Iuno. So there might be a danger that we use the wrong words and therefore hurt others or hurt ourselves. And we want to achieve something, but in the end, with what my cards also said, with imprint of karma or with ignorance, we find ourselves in the same rut, the same, like we always have had before. Or this Chiron theme, I don't get out of my wounds. I mean, in the astrology, Venus and Mars are in a square to Chiron. There is something where we feel hurt, whether it is from the past or whether it is something that happens during that time that triggers this old wound. But to remember that reacting or speaking out of being triggered is never a good advice. And this quincunx says it is a challenge not to speak out of this wounded self, but to come into the sovereign with Inanna. Inanna, to me, is the advice for this full moon. Come into your sovereign queen, come into the moon in Leo, come into your own sovereign energy, this sovereign that says, I'm always a queen. And that doesn't mean you can treat me like shit. I mean, I'm a queen. Be aware how you treat me, but I don't have to prove myself, my worth. I don't have to prove my worth, and I don't have to be afraid. If I'm in my queen or in my king, I will see whether someone is worth it to be in my life. Because those that don't really respect me will go away if I step into my queen or my king. Those that truly love me will be happy that I have stepped into my queen or my king. But this also means to respect the queen or the king in someone else, that it's not only about me but also about the other and about this. I mean, Kwawa is also in the mix. Listening to a new rhythm, listening to a new music, we have to be aware to find a new rhythm of creation. There is something that wants to be created in a new way. There is something that needs adjustment, and there is something where the quincunx to Mercury where we need to communicate about, but we cannot communicate about it if we are too much in our Chiron Mars-Venus theme, too much in our wounded relationship theme. And I would say the best advice is to realize that, but to know that your worth is independent of where you are in your relationship, whether it is with a person or whether it is where you stand with a project. This is the surface, and your gold is underneath, is on the ground, and no one can touch that. Your sacred ground is always sacred. And I mean, Kwawa and Venus and Mars are in a trine to Uranus, so there is something in us that wants the new, that is yearning to have a new way to relate with Uranus. Even if it is in a trine, it is about a new freedom. This new freedom says, on one hand, I have to really be aware of the words and how I speak them, and on the other hand, I can be more relaxed how I react. Because I am in my sovereign, because I am in my moon in Leo, and I know my worth. I mean, this full moon in Leo will be a bumpy road to transformation. But this bumpy road to transformation might be worth it. And I mean, which transformation isn't bumpy? Which transformation doesn't require effort? So it isn't an easy full moon, but it is a full moon that can bring a change that is worth it. And it is about our communication. So be aware of your words, and don't get too offended too easily in the way others use their words. You don't have to be sacrificed, you don't have to be a victim of someone else, but as I said, be more in the queen, in the way you react, and breathe in, breathe out, and then react. And with this new communication comes a new and fresh start, and it is worth that something, the way it had been before, is ending. It is worth it. So I hope this was helpful. I wish you a wonderful full moon. Till next time, namaste.